Hey Copilot, can you be my League of Legends jungle coach?
I've got the knowledge, but no opposable thumbs. I'd be terrible at ganks. I could give you some tips, though.
Totally!
AI chatbots are typically used for productivity and entertainment purposes, but can I use one to help me improve at League of Legends? In this video, I'll be playing Evelynn in the jungle with Microsoft Copilot as my coach to determine if the AI-generated advice is helpful or even accurate. Let's start by asking about which items we should buy.
Evelynn benefits from items that boost her ability power, cooldown reduction, and magic penetration. Get Hextech Rocket Belt for burst and mobility. Follow up with Lichbane and Rabadon's Death Cap for massive damage, and finish with Void Staff to melt through magic resist.
Hextech Rocket Belt is not a bad item on Evelynn, but I'd recommend just starting Lichbane instead. And also at some point in your build, get Dark Seal and maybe Magi's if you're feeling lucky. Otherwise, Death Cap and Void Staff are definitely good picks. But what about our jungle pet?
Choose the pet that best suits Evelynn's sneaky playstyle, like the Moss Stomper for extra durability or the Gust Walker for bonus movement speed.
This is good advice. Both the blue and green jungle pets have about the same win rate, though the blue pet is picked much more frequently. Next, we'll ask about our runes.
For Evelynn, Domination is your primary path. Electrocute is a must for burst damage. Sudden Impact complements her stealth and mobility. Eyeball Collection stacks AP, and Relentless Hunter boosts your roaming. For the secondary path, Inspiration offers Future's Market for quick item spikes and Perfect Timing for a free stopwatch. Go for Ability Haste, Adaptive Force, and Armor Magic Resist.
The primary path recommendation is perfect, but the secondary path is obviously out of date. These days you'd either go Inspiration with Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight, or Sorcery with Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. Also, when I informed Copilot that Future's Market and Perfect Timing were no longer in the game, it gave me this absolutely terrible advice.
If Future's Market is out, try Minion Dematerializer or Biscuit Delivery for sustain and wave control.
I can't imagine why Copilot would recommend Evelynn as a jungler wave management runes. She has no wave to manage. Let's see if Copilot can recover when I ask about my summoner spells.
Flash is essential for positioning and escapes, while Smite is your jungle must-have.
Okay, that's a no-brainer. But what about our skill path?
Max Q Hate Spike first for damage and cooldown, then E Whiplash for burst. W Allure comes last for the charm utility, starting with Q, E, then W.
This is almost perfect advice. I'd recommend if you don't think you're going to get invaded on your first clear, just start with 2 points in your Q. But otherwise, this is perfectly fine. So what does Copilot recommend for our jungle clear path?
Her jungle clear path often starts with the Blue Sentinel, then moves to Gromp, Wolves, Raptors, Red Brambleback, and Krugs. This route gives her a smooth level up progression and prepares her for ganks.
Yeah, this is a good top-down clear path. I appreciate that Copilot doesn't recommend doing anything fancy like early ganks. It clearly understands that Evelynn needs to rush level 6 as quickly as possible before she becomes an effective ganker. Next, I'll ask about which junglers Evelynn is strong and weak against.
Evelynn excels against junglers who are vulnerable early game or have weak vision control. She can dominate champions like Amumu, Rammus, and Zac, who struggle to handle her stealth and burst damage.
Okay, according to the stats, that's just not true. She has a negative win rate against Amumu, Rammus, and Zac. I think her best matchups are squishy mages or other champs with weak early games who need to scale. Maybe Copilot has a better idea of who Evelynn's weak against.
Evelynn struggles against early game powerhouses and champions who can invade or duel effectively, like Lee Sin, Graves, and Xin Zhao. These champions can exploit her early vulnerability to delay her power spikes.
This is true, but it's not unique to strong early game champs, because Evelynn probably loses a early game 1v1 to just about anybody. Maybe Copilot can help me out with some general tips and combos for playing Evelynn jungle.
Use Evelynn's abilities to weave in and out of fights. Open with her camouflaged approach and land an empowered E. then Charm with W for amplified damage. Use Q for sustained damage and R as an escape or to finish off low health targets. Evelynn's all about picking the right moments. Be patient, wait for her charm to activate, and don't dive in too early in team fights.
Copilot kind of contradicts itself here because initially it says open with your E and then charm after, but then in the second half it says wait for your charm to proc before engaging, which is definitely the recommended combo. It just demonstrates that AI struggles with consistency and is prone to contradict itself. Let's hope Copilot can remain consistent when I ask about Evelynn's greatest strengths and weaknesses.
Evelynn's greatest strengths include her stealth, which lets her roam and ambush effectively, and her tremendous burst damage, especially after level 6. She can obliterate squishy targets and slip away thanks to her ultimate. However, she's vulnerable early game, has limited crowd control, and relies heavily on landing her charm and positioning herself well. She also struggles against champions who can invade or pressure her early. Playing her strengths while navigating these weaknesses is key to mastering her.
This is a great summary of Evelynn's strengths and weaknesses. 10 out of 10. No notes. Lastly, can Copilot give me equally good advice about how to play the mid and late game?
In the mid and late game, Evelynn should focus on picking off isolated targets, especially high-priority squishies like enemy carries or mages. Use her stealth to flank and surprise opponents, and aim to snowball when your team secures vision control. Be cautious about engaging first in team fights. Instead, linger at the edges and dive in when the enemy's key abilities are down. Play the role of a predator, time your engagements, secure vision, and make every pick-off count. Ready to stalk your prey?
I think this demonstrates AI's strengths of giving more generalized advice or summaries. As we've seen when it comes to giving item or rune recommendations, that information can be out of date. But when it comes to how to best utilize a champion or play into their strengths, I think AI is a pretty good resource for that sort of thing.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Totally Carl for more League content. See you on the Rift.